I think everybody out there, other than a handful of companies that are really excelling, have got this whole notion of branding wrong. All right? There's a handful of people that get it, and they're not telling anybody. They're not going to write it in a book and tell you what it's about, because it's their competitive advantage. Everything you thought you knew was wrong. Now, somebody told me at a conference a couple of weeks ago, they said, you know what, Tom, in the 60s we took LSD to make the world look weird. Today we take Prozac to make the world look normal. That's what's going on. If you think that the marketplace is a game of some kind of precise calculus, and if we can just find that right formula, we'll win, you're wrong. People are running on instincts and emotions today. Look at your products. Do you read your products? Flip them over and read some of this stuff, right? Furniture polish has 10% real lemons. Lemonade is all artificial ingredients. This is us. We do this. I get all these little gadgets. I have to put batteries in them, right? And I'm having an argument with an engineer. And the engineer's telling me, oh, engineers are rational. We make all our decisions rationally. I said, well, you guys invented all this battery stuff. How come in the store it's AAA, AA, C, D? There's no B. He can't tell me where the B batteries went. Do you think that Nike was about the better rubber and leather and eyelets and laces and all that? These things were made in the Far East right on the same line as the Kmart shoes. Same materials, and then at the end, a swoosh went on it, and it tripled in price. Because it was about Michael Jordan slam dunking with no time left in the game, and we're champions. And we all wanted to be like him, champions. And I watched it, and I watched all of a sudden, Nike start doing this, and Reebok start doing this. Do you know what happened when that Nike started to slide? Michael Jordan retired. Worse than that, what was Michael Jordan doing with his time? Playing golf. Golf, what a poet once called a long walk ruined, right? Guess what? No little slam dunker want to be associated with a long walk ruined. So who did Reebok get? Iverson, right? With his cornrows and his tattoos and his attitude, and Reebok starts going up. Until they locked Iverson in jail. But that's a whole other story. That's a different story. Why are they so successful? Because they asked the head, one of the marketing guys at Harley, and they said, what do you sell? Do you think he said, we sell motorcycles? They don't sell motorcycles. He said, what we sell is the ability for a 43-year-old accountant to dress up in black leather, ride through small towns, and have people be afraid of him. The value in a value proposition is the value in the customer's experience, not the value in the product. It's the experience that must be differentiated. It's the experience. So what you sell is not important. How you do it is what becomes important, because everybody's doing what you do, but they're not doing it how you do it. See this harmonica? It has 7 notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te. And then it goes up an octave again with do, right? He says you can either do this with it. He said you can do that. It's your harmonica. Or, he says you can do this. Your choice. I only know that one song. But do you see? It's just a choice. There's nothing special about any of this. It's a choice of how you want to use it. We don't see the difference between the truth and the facts. An airline executive once said, if passengers see dirty trays or seat pockets, the passengers can't be sure we did a good job servicing the airplane engine. Now, imagine if you're the head of quality control, right? Talking to the CEO. What are these people, idiots? Do they think that the flight attendants pick up the newspapers, then grab a wrench and go underneath and start tightening up bolts? See, but if you're the CEO, you say, I don't care what they think. We know people are crazy. We have to appeal to the madness of people. That's your competitive advantage. Because everything else people can copy you on. Rational man is a myth. As long as you want to play the rational game, you will not stay in business. Because it's becoming more irrational the more information and the more choices. This is how it works. People sense something. It's their gut now. That's the instinct sensing something.
and they become engaged and interested. Then they dig a little deeper. This is what you're trying to do by driving them to the websites. Then they dig a little deeper, and hopefully they become interested in the value. But then the third thing that comes into their mind is belief. How do I know I can believe this? The experience is what drives belief. The experience with others like them who have done business with you, their experience with you, that is what creates belief.
When people get something in their brains, they have an expectation of everything else, and it better be as good, or you don't look good anymore. That's the nature of how we think. You look, you discover, you try. It doesn't work, you dump it. Try something else. That doesn't work, dump it. Try something else. Rapid prototyping, modeling new things is the only way to succeed today. You can't sit around and think this whole thing out for a year and go, okay, I got it. Oops, too late. It's a year later, that's gone. It's wisdom that allows you to be successful in business. You want to know the difference between wisdom and intelligence? It's very simple. Here it is. So here's these two brothers. There's little Bobby, right? He's 4, and his older brother's 13. So his older brother has some friends in the room, and they're listening to music, and they're just cutting up, right? And here's little 4-year-old Bobby. He's walking back and forth, peeking in, right? He wants to get his attention, but he's not going to walk in there and get beat up. So he's just kind of looking, right? All of a sudden, the older brother sees him, and he says to his friends, hey, guys, you have to see this. My little brother is so stupid. Watch this. Bobby, come here for a minute. Bobby gets all excited, right? He runs in the room. He says, yeah? The older brother looks at his friends and winks and says, watch how dumb this kid is. He does this every single time. He reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a nickel and a dime. He says to Bobby, Bobby, which one you want? The big one or the little one? And he winks at his friends. Bobby grabs that nickel and runs down to his room. These kids are on the floor holding their stomachs laughing. Your brother's so stupid. Does he do it all the time? Yeah, all the time. So here's the father. Here's the father looking like this. Oh, God. He walks down to Bobby's room. Here's poor little Bobby. Here's Bobby bouncing on the bed, right? Father walks in. He says, Bobby, come here for a minute. He says, yeah, Dad? He says, Bobby, stop bouncing for a second. Sit down. He says, okay, Dad, what is it? Bobby, I was just peeking in. I saw what happened in your brother's room. He says, yeah? He said, son, you know the difference between a nickel and a dime, don't you? He said, well, sure, Dad. He said, a nickel is 5 pennies, and a dime is 10 pennies. He said, that's right, son. He said, then how come when your brother asks you which one you want, the big one or the little one, why are you always taking that nickel? He jumps off the bed, reaches down under the bed, pulls out a sock full of nickels, and he says, Dad, when I take that dime, the game is over.